The top stories: Ethiopian President Sahle-Work Zewde calls upon Ethiopians to unite for peace once again, bearing the spirit of liberty and unity demonstrated in the Adwa victory. And Vice-Chancellor of African International University says Adwa victory has a big symbolism for all Africans, not only for Ethiopians. Hello and thank you all for joining us. You're watching Addis News Hour with the news. I'm Tabitha John. Do stay with us. President Sahle-Work Zewde has called upon all Ethiopians to unite for peace once again, bearing the spirit of cooperation, liberty, equality, and unity demonstrated in the Adwa victory. Addressing a national consultative forum here today in Addis Ababa, the president stressed on the need for every Ethiopian to play his or her role in peace building. The president also vowed to take the country to the next level. Habtam Washagri tells you more.
With her keynote address, President Sahle-Work Zewde has called for enhanced collective efforts to transform Ethiopia to a higher level in all aspects. The efforts of single individuals are vital for peace to prevail in the nation and pass the victory of Adwa to the coming generation, the president stressed.
The victory of Adwa is not only a lesson how to stand together by avoiding petty differences to the common enemy, rather it shows how to pay sacrification to the common country. Thus, we have to maximize our efforts to solidify the spirit of Adwa to the coming generations.
Sahle-Work stressed forefathers and mothers played unprecedented role to divert the power of colonizers by defeating aggression.
The victory of Adwa shifted the agenda of colonizers. It paved the way to freedom. Thus, I personally believe that observing this victory has enormous advantages. The victory of Adwa is not only the symbol of bravery, rather it shows how our forefathers and mothers stood together by avoiding their differences in civilized manner.
The Minister of Peace, Muferiat Kamil, on her part said the dialogue has been held for the past 6 months and it's largely hoped that the dialogue enables to build peaceful and democratic Ethiopia.
A range of consultations among elites, researchers, scholars, intellectuals, as well as other stakes show how we go forward at the exit point of the cave to find the light and hope of the nation by maximizing the victory of Adwa. The nation-building activity is not an activity of one-day task, rather it's a process. We have to come and stand together to put vibrant foundations to realize the nation-building process at every level.
Muferiat added fruitful discussion is critical to avoid differences at every circumstance.
A nation can be built through high-level consultative dialogues that lead to further unity and peace. Ideas can build and demolish a country. Thus, coming together and holding successful dialogue on differences of interest are key instruments to build our country.
The Minister of Peace said it has been organizing similar dialogues among the general public, elites and public servants to improve relationship between the government and the general public.
Scholars commend the immense role of horses and horse riders for the victory of Adwa in transporting logistics for the war and also in the battlefield in the fight against fascist Italians. Ethiopian war leaders and warriors used to be called after the names of their horses because of the immense contributions of the horses in battles. Jerusalem Betzaha has more.
Many historians agree that Adwa victory witnessed Ethiopians' commitment and sacrifice for freedom and sovereignty of their country. Moreover, Ethiopians practically demonstrated that human beings are equal whether they are black or white and gave this lesson to the world. Techane Jobre is author. He says Ethiopians from all corners of the country had participated in the Battle of Adwa with their horses.
Horses and horse riders' role was remarkable for the victory of Adwa. At that time, we didn't have any vehicles to transport patriots and logistics. Most of the Ras Makonnen army who came from Harar, the Ras Mikael army who came from Yeju, and the army from Salale, they were all horse riders. In general, half of the army in the Battle of Adwa was traveled on horses. All Ethiopian patriots were highly confident in their leaders through avoiding their differences for the common enemy.
Kifane Aifa, who researched on this area, says horse riders and horses had contributed a great role in all ancient battles of Ethiopian history.
በአጼ ልብነ ድንግልና በአጼ ኢማም አህመድ ግራኝ መካከል የተደረገው ጦርነት
During the war between Emperor Libna Dingil and Imam Muhammad, horse riders and horses had a significant contribution. Similarly, though the Italian army was well armed with modern artilleries including air jets, our forefathers and mothers defeat them fighting with horses and traditional weapons in the Battle of Adwa. That's why horse has a strong relation with Ethiopian battle history.
Kifane added most of the past Ethiopian emperors, warriors, particularly in the Battle of Adwa, were used to be called after the names of their horses due to their significance in the battle and on their daily lives.
Let's see Emperor Haile Selassie. He was known as by his horse Abba Teklil. Emperor Minilik was called Abba Danyo. Emperor Theodorus Abba Tatek. And Fitarari Habte Georgis Dinagde Kus Dinagde. Most of Ethiopian warriors in the Battle of Adwa were after the name of their horses. Apart from this, horses have played a great role on Ethiopian traditional festivals, in weddings, funerals and so on.
In most rural parts of today's Ethiopia, horses have irreplaceable socio-economic significance.
Historians called upon Ethiopians to repeat the winning spirit of the Adwa victory in present-day nation-building efforts. During the 125th anniversary of Adwa victory held at Jimma University, the historians said Adwa was not given due attention in the past years, recalling the need to embolden the core values of the victory. Alula Taklamariam tells us more.
The victory of Adwa heralds the gallantry and solidarity of Ethiopians in protecting the country's sovereignty. The secret for Ethiopians to win the war against Italians was not because they had advanced weapons over their adversaries. It was rather because of their national unity. In connection to this year's Adwa commemoration, historians at Jimma University said Adwa was not given due attention in the past years, regardless of its esteemed history among the black people.
የነጮችና የጥቁሮችን የአስተሳሰብ የበላይነትና የበታችነት
Adwa is a turning point to change the long-standing mentality of white supremacy over the black people, a mentality that used to promote as if the white people are created to lead the black ones. So globally, it ignited a freedom light among the black people. But when we see it locally, it lacks accurate documentation that represents the role of all Ethiopians in the battle. I do not think all Ethiopian nations and nationalities are equally recognized in the history of Adwa. Even names of some people who were in the leadership position during the war are not correctly listed.
Another history lecturer at the University of Jimma, Belay Beyene, shares the view that Adwa victory has not been given due attention, irrespective of its diplomatic role.
ያን ያክል የሚገባውን ቦታ ተሰጥቷል ብዬ አላምንም። ምን ማድረግ ነው ያለብን? አንድነታችን የሚያጠናክሩልን
I don't think Adwa victory has got the priority compared to its multifaceted role. We should relentlessly invest on our bold events like Adwa that can cement our national unity. You know, the name Ethiopia began to expand after the victory of Adwa. This is a symbol of greatness and unity. Therefore, every state needs to play a share in magnifying Adwa.
These historians called upon Ethiopians to repeat the winning spirit of Adwa victory in the nation-building efforts.
አባቶቻችን ቅድመ አያቶቻችን እንደዛ ሰርቷል ብለን ብቻ የነሱን ታሪክ በመናገር የነሱን ታሪክ በማንበብ
What we should learn from Adwa is not only narrating the heroic fight of our forefathers and mothers. We should rather go beyond that to maintain the unity and sovereignty of this great nation. So, what matters is protecting our unity while respecting our differences too.
ስለዚህ ዩኒቲን ነው ኢንከሬጅ ማድረግ ያለብን አንድነት ነው
We need to encourage unity. Unless we maintain our unity far more beyond our forefathers, we cannot fight and eradicate poverty. It is a high time for Ethiopia to invest in such things to achieve the desired national goal. We learned this from the victory of Adwa.
Several papers that highlighted the values and the major events of the Adwa victory were presented and discussed.
Vice-Chancellor of Africa International University, Hunut Abiy Kaduf, said the victory of Adwa has big symbolism for all Africans, not only for Ethiopians. Africans shall mark the victory of Adwa with Ethiopia, which is a symbol of Africa's independence, he noted. A Sudanese scholar, Abdusalam Adam, for his part, said the victory in which Ethiopia overcame the Italian aggressors is a source of pride for all Africans. Emmanuel Jorge takes it from here.
Vice-Chancellor of Africa International University, Professor Hunut Abiy Kaduf, told ETV that the victory of Adwa has big meaning not only for Ethiopians but for all Africans. Due to the fact that Adwa is the victory of Africa and the black people, Africa in all corners of the continent shall celebrate the victory, he said.
In my view, a victory of any African country against colonizers is considered as a victory for the whole of Africa. Accordingly, Ethiopia's victory is our victory. We have the pride and spirit of the victory of Adwa that Ethiopians have. We are very glad of the victory in which the aggressors who came to rob Africa's resources were defeated. When I see Ethiopians celebrating the victory of Adwa with assorted events, I feel the heroic bravery of that time.
On the other hand, the Sudanese scholar who is director of Al Maktoum charity organization, Abdusalam Adam, said the victory which Ethiopia took against the invaders is a source of pride for Africans.
دي واحدة من الحركات الكبيرة اللي انتصر فيها الشعب الإثيوبي على العدو.
The victory of Adwa is the major among the battles that Ethiopia has fought and won. Adwa victory is not only attributed to the Ethiopian army, but the entire Ethiopians because all Ethiopians took part in the battle widely. It is in fact our victory. The victory of Adwa has great meaning for all Africans. It gave us a lesson of overcoming colonizers and become independent.
أوروبي على الدولة الإثيوبية.
He underlined that history will never forget this fascinating victory and will always recall it as a hallmark of Africa's independence.
Historians applaud the immense role of Empress Taitu and other Ethiopian women for the victory of Adwa, citing Empress Taitu's ingenious military strategy to siege Italian forces in Mekelle. A woman empowerment consultant, Fitum Atnafawork Kidane Mariam, expressed the need for an equal platform for all professional women in the political arena, recalling women's role in Adwa's victory. Jerusalem Betzaha reports.
History indicated that about 4 years before the Battle of Adwa, the central and northern part of Ethiopia was hit by several natural calamities, including drought, which exacerbated the famine. Those things impoverished most of the people, particularly the peasantry in central and northern Ethiopia. Therefore, for Emperor Minilik II and the rest of the prominent nobility of Ethiopia by then was thinking about the campaign to Adwa, worrying about food supply. However, Ethiopian women, Empress Taitu in particular, did a remarkable contribution in managing the food supply.
So Taitu took that in charge. So food items were gathered from different parts of Ethiopia, particularly southwestern Ethiopia, which was not highly affected by the drought, the famine. And it was gathered in Addis. It has to be transported all the way to Adwa, Warrailu, Makale, and other places. So Taitu organized a team which is in charge of this, and she did a miraculous job in terms of that. And then, apart from Taitu, women played an important role for the success of the campaign. You see, the presence of food supplies means one thing, but food preparation for the army required a lot of things. So there were about 50,000 maximum, or between 40,000 and 50,000 women who were engaged in preparation of food and serving food for the army, all the way from Addis Ababa to Adwa, and then the way back also.
Women in Ethiopia these days are also playing active role, covering 50% of the government's cabinet. This is what the woman empowerment consultant and trainer Fitsum Atnafork Kidane Mariam called an inspiring move.
We have 50% women in the cabinet. That is something that we celebrate, like the Adwa victory. For me, it's like the Adwa victory, because looking at my age, looking at 50% women ministers in Ethiopia, it is a wow. And we have a woman president. It is a wow. It is something that we celebrate. Because for the next generation, they can say like, oh, I can be a prime minister. I can be a president. Because they have a witness to see. For us, there was no women in the leadership position at that level, and then we have never dreamed of the prime minister or the president position.
However, Fitsum urged the government to create a platform that allows all women professionals to participate in the political sphere regardless of their political ideology.
When it comes to the political arena, we don't have many women in leadership on the political road because of the system. For example, when as a professional woman, I don't want to be a politician. Because I don't want to be a politician, I cannot be a prime minister. So that is our system. That's how we are in Ethiopia and of course in the world. In order to be a leader, a country leader, yes, I can be a leader in my organization or I can be a higher leader in any organization, but I cannot be a country leader in Ethiopia because I'm not a politician. And then it's not only me, there are many professionals who are left behind and then who cannot contribute to the country because they are no politicians, they are only professionals. So that system has to be changed.
Fitsum also stressed the need for high attention to the education system to create capable women and men in all sectors.
Ethiopia is celebrating the 125th anniversary of the victory Adwa for a month long in February. Many African leaders have expressed their points of view on the victory. It is to be recalled that former President of South Africa, Thabo Mbeki, during the 120th anniversary of Adwa victory, said that African leaders can learn from the good leadership skill of Emperor Minilik II, who defeated Italian invaders in the Battle of Adwa. Emmanuel Jogi presented.
Italians coming out of the Berlin Conference, which was in November 1884-5, which then allocated African countries and in turn colonized, but not Ethiopia. Italy tried to occupy Ethiopia in many ways. However, they could not succeed because Ethiopians defeated them in the unprecedented Battle of Adwa. In his remark on the 120th anniversary of victory of Adwa, former President of South Africa Thabo Mbeki said Ethiopians succeeded in defending their continued independence.
The Battle of Adwa, as I say, end of February 1896, is a battle to ensure the continued independence of Ethiopia. that Ethiopia shall not be like all of these other countries which had become colonies of the West.
Mbeki wondered the good leadership skill of Emperor Minilik by the time to strengthen the people's unity to defend their sovereignty.
This is a fascinating story of leadership. Professor Muchi was saying that one of the problems that we have, a curse we have, is this weakness of leadership on the continent. It's absolutely extraordinary to read about this. Because Menelik, for instance, the Ethiopians had been fighting battles. They'd fought battles against the British, against Egyptians, against Sudan, against the Italians, and so they were sensitive to this fact that to defend the independence to guarantee the independence of Ethiopia, you had to deal with these possible interventions.
He pointed out that time the unity of Ethiopian people in defense of that independence was astonishing. They were very conscious about the need to maintain the cohesion and unity of Ethiopians about the matter of independence.
And finally, Addis Ababa has inaugurated 2 parks today. The city has been undertaking a wide range of beautification and greenery activities to become a chosen tourism and investment destination in Africa. Ntoto, Unity, and Friendship Parks are among the destinations which have been so far developed in the city of Addis Ababa, as per the Greenery Drive initiated by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. And Addis Ababa is still engaged in expanding green recreation and tourism places in the metropolis. Deputy Mayor of Addis Ababa City, Adanesh Abebe, has today inaugurated Ambassador and Betwoded Goshu Wolde Tzadik Parks as part of expedition of the Greenery and Beautification Drive. Ambassador Park has been renovated with an outlay of 25 million birr over the last 25 months, while Betwoded Goshu Wolde Tzadik Park, which is named after the first mayor of Addis Ababa City, is built at a cost of 101 million birr. It was indicated that the parks include recreational facilities, libraries, and other necessary provisions. A reminder of today's headlines. Ethiopian President Sahle-Work Zewde calls upon Ethiopians to unite for peace once again, bearing the spirit of liberty and unity demonstrated in the Adwa victory. And Vice-Chancellor of Africa International University says Adwa victory has big symbolism for all Africans, not only for Ethiopians. And that's all we had for now. I'm Tabitha John. Many thanks for watching. Goodbye.